Hey survivors. Um, I was contemplating on if I wanted to make a video or not about how I healed or how I am healing my trauma bond. I kind of just wanted to heal, put like that whole part of my life in the past and just be done with it. But in our Facebook group, like I see a lot of people still questioning about the trauma bond, asking how to heal the trauma bond. I see a lot of people too. It's like once you're on the other side of the trauma bond, it's hard to understand again how the person in the trauma bond is feeling. Like I see a lot of people kind of judging people that are still in the trauma bond. And I also don't want to forget where I was at one point. So if I can help anyone, like I just kind of want to be able to do that. So if this video does help anyone, I'm thankful for that. So basically, how I healed my trauma bond, which I don't feel like my trauma bond's like 100% healed. I think it's a process. I think I still have a lot of work to do, but this is just what I did, and it might not work for everybody. Everybody's healing process is going to be different, but I just wanted to share what I did, maybe give you guys some ideals to help you guys heal yours. So basically, um I believe it was like three major discards with my narcissist. We had other like fights and stuff where we would break up, or like where I would try to break up and then he would ask me not to, things like that. But it was like three times where he actually did the discard. So the first time, um, I didn't know anything about a narcissist at all whatsoever. I didn't know anything about a trauma bond, nothing like that. So I was like, I didn't understand what I was going through. I was really, really depressed, and I had like a nervous breakdown, and it was just horrible. And like at that point, I just wanted to fix the relationship. Like I was blaming myself, and I felt like maybe there was something I was doing that wasn't quite right, and that we could fix this. So we ended up getting back together, and I started going to therapy, and my therapist told me like it sounded like I was dealing with like a narcissist or a sociopath. And so I started researching that and like what a narcissist was and things like that. And I could see then like, oh yeah, he's definitely has narcissism. And again, at this point I don't really know the extent of what it is. So I'm just like, oh, he just needs love. He just needs someone to love him. No one's ever loved him. Like his parents traumatized him, whatever. And I was like telling myself, like, if I could just give him love, um, eventually, like, he'll be okay. I could cure him. I could help him. And so I started like educating myself on it. So that's like the first step. I feel like educate yourself. Once you see, you can't unsee. So um I think that's what helped me be able to get out of the relationship. So I educated myself, but at this time still wasn't ready to let go. The second discard, it wasn't as bad as the first discard because I already knew he was a narcissist, and I was like, okay, like I need to get over this trauma bond and heal myself, and you know just be done with it. So I'm doing my therapy and working on myself. And then I thought like we could still be friends. Obviously wasn't over the trauma bond. So, we are friends, and then I started dating somebody else, and he didn't like that, and he, made me feel bad about that, and then we kind of got back together. But then again, I know at this point what narcissism is. I know what a trauma bond is. But I felt like he was trying to change. Like I've told him like he was a narcissist, all of that stuff. So I felt like he was trying to change. Um, but of course that was just a show, an act, whatever. So this last discard, um things got like pretty bad. He assaulted me. I ended up with a concussion. And like after that, like I was able to forgive him for every other time that he put his hands on me, because I always justified it like, oh, he wasn't like, because he would just like maybe punch me one time. And I would justify it in my head, which is ridiculous, but I would justify in my head like, oh, he was just angry. He was just acting out of anger. Well, this time, like, he was literally trying to hurt me. It's like no way around it. So it's like, I have to be done. Like, I cannot not be done at this point. Can't justify it any longer. There's nothing I can do to make excuses for him any longer. It's just, I have to be done. So, I called the police. He didn't get arrested. I did go get a restraining order on him. Um, and then I just kind of like worked on myself. So I couldn't work for a week afterwards because I had a concussion. And so that was like my first step, just like more in this relationship. This relationship is done. Cry, girl, get it out. It's done. It's over with. And you have to mourn it because it is a loss, even though it was fake or whatever people want to say. Like, that person didn't really exist. In my mind, in my heart, he did exist. So, and that's done, and that's never going to be a thing again. So I had to mourn that. When Okay, so I just basically, for that first week, I'm home the whole week because I can't work because I have a concussion. And I just, I let it out. I was like, girl, feel what you need to feel. Be sad, be hurt, be upset, do whatever you have to do. And that's what I did. I just like just cried and just let it out. And I was just telling myself like, you love him, but you have to remember that he doesn't love you and that you can't go back to that. So what I did was, because in the past discards, a lot of times where I would get caught up would be like, I'd start ruminating on the relationship and I would start remembering like all the good memories and the good times we had together. And I would kind of just like forget and disregard the bad. So what I did was, I actually have a cousin who, her boyfriend killed her. And she was only 24 years old and her boyfriend killed her. So I hung a picture of her in my living room. So that way every day after I wake up, I can come out to my living room and I can see her and I could be like, look what happened to her. She didn't have a life. She never got to have kids. She never got to experience that. She never got to get married. She never got to experience genuine, real love because she died so young. And I was like, I can't be like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's like a reminder for me every day. Like, don't take your own life for granted because it could be gone any minute. Um, so, and then also, I hung like sticky notes that said things that he done to me that were just like reminders. So then when I start like remembering the good things and like kind of clearing out the bad things, I could just like look at one of those sticky notes and be like, well, he did this horrible thing to you. That's not love. And you can't love someone into being healthy. So I started doing that. And then I had to get really real with myself. And I was like, okay, you were in a relationship with this man for 3 years. For 3 years, you put up with all of this abuse. Because why? Why? Because you didn't want to be alone. That was the whole reason. I didn't want to be alone. Because I had just had a probably like devastating 5 years of my life prior to meeting him. My family was like passing away left and right, and like for different reasons, but it was like my whole support system in a matter of 5 years was gone. My best friend, my cousin that I was very close to, um, my father, my grandparents who raised me, very close to them. And it was just like a string of like my whole support system was gone. So when I met him, I felt like I didn't have anybody and I felt alone and I didn't want to feel that way anymore. And that's why I put up with so much. But I mean, how ridiculous is that? I'm gonna let somebody abuse me, somebody devalue me, and somebody to hurt me because I don't want to be alone. So this time, instead of crying and feeling sad for myself because I was alone, I said, I'm gonna learn to be alone. Like this is how I'm gonna heal, and this is how I'm gonna make sure I never get in another relationship like this. I'm gonna learn to be alone. So I just spent like the last month um learning to be alone, learning to be okay with being alone, um, and working on myself. Because here's the whole thing: invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself. You have to be gentle with yourself. Some days you might not want to get out of bed. You might be sad. You might want to lay in bed and cry all day, and that's okay. Just don't get caught up in that cycle though, because um, it's more out here to life, and you have to be able to, mourn, grieve, and move on. Um, so I was just really gentle on myself. I was trying to just accomplish little things every day. And like I said, get real with myself. Like, you have this problem where you don't want to be alone. And for some reason, like, I felt like he was the only person that I could connect with. And I know now that was definitely the trauma bond. But I just wanted to make sure, like, even after this relationship, like, I never allow this to happen to me again. So I started, I'm still continue going to therapy. I go to regular talk therapy. I go to trauma therapy. And I also started doing shadow work, which I feel like helps me a lot, because there's a reason. Like, if you think about it, like, why would you allow somebody to treat you like that? It's like there's something wrong inside of you, something deep down, like, where you either don't want to be alone, you don't feel like you're good enough, whatever your insecurities are. And I can say one thing, like, I am grateful for about the relationship with my narcissist is that man literally brought out every insecurity I've ever had in my life. So I already had a good idea of what my insecurities were. Oh, and I also started journaling. So, like, I would ask myself, like, why, and this is also part of shadow work. So I didn't know that at the time because I hadn't started the shadow work at the time, but I would ask myself, like, what made you feel like you deserve this? And then I'd write it down. Like, and you got to be really honest with yourself. Like, what made you feel like you deserve this? And so now, like, I'm every day I try to do at least an hour of shadow work every day. And I feel like that's helping, but at the same time, if you feel like you want to do shadow work, understand that it's not easy, and you literally have to be real with yourself, like 100% real with yourself. It's bringing up wounds you didn't even know you had. And I think, like, the first day I did any shadow work, I probably cried for like 5 hours, because it's like I didn't even know I was going through this. And the fact that I buried this deep inside me, and it allowed somebody to abuse me, and it allowed me to feel like I wasn't good enough or I couldn't do better, which makes no sense because I was the one in the relationship that brought everything to the table. So why did I not feel like I could do better? Why did I feel like this his life was more important than my life? Me saving him was more important than me having a happy, healthy relationship. So basically, just, that's just some of the tips I can give you. When you start recalling the good times, hang up reminders, remember the bad times, remember why you can't go back. um do affirmations every day. Tell yourself that you can do better and you are better than this. And don't let anyone tell you differently. Realize that this person doesn't care about you, and regardless how bad that hurts you, that's what you have to mourn. I get it hurts you, but you have to mourn it, you have to get over it, and you have to let it go. um I'm just looking at my notes to make sure. Oh, and another thing, you have to go no contact. Every other time that I went through a discard, I couldn't heal because I didn't go no contact. And I mean, necessarily, like, he would ignore me. Yes, he would ignore me because he was giving me the silent treatment. But I would still be writing him or texting him or trying to call him. And like that's not gonna help you heal. Don't do that. You have to mourn the loss, realize it's over, and go no contact. Um and oh, I also in that first week I deleted every picture I had of him, every picture of like any vacation we went on, anything that reminded me of him, I deleted it. Any souvenirs that I had from vacation, any little gifts he gave me, anything like that, I threw away. And I feel like that's hard to do because you're like, oh, well, what about these memories or whatever? But I don't know about you, but those are memories I don't personally want. I don't want to remember the worst time of my life. I don't want to remember the person that did that to me. And um I don't want it to cloud my judgment. I don't want the good times to cloud my judgment. So I just had to get rid of all of that. I don't have any pictures I can go back and look at and remember. I don't have any emails or text messages. I deleted all of that stuff, and I have none of that to go back and remember. I don't look at his social media. I don't. So I will never know if he has a new supply. Cuz guess what? I don't really care. Like, he is not part of my life anymore. And that's the whole thing I feel like you have to do. No contact is a must, and no contact is not to punish him. No contact is so you can heal and you can get over it. Um and that's just what I did to break the trauma bond. I feel like I still need to continue with my therapy, my shadow work, and anything else that I can to heal, because my next relationship, I want to go into that relationship and I want to be healthy and I want to be committed and I want to be able to make a bond with that person and have boundaries and have that be a healthy relationship. And until I heal, that's not going to happen. So that's what I'm going to continue to work on. And I'm going to leave the narcissist part of my life behind me, aside from the fact, like, me trying to help others understand what they're going through, because I didn't understand what I was going through at first. And it was very confusion. And that's why I had the nervous breakdown, because I felt like I was going crazy. I felt like I was the only one in the world going through this. So, I feel like I can help people and make them realize they're not alone, even though this isn't a part of my life that I necessarily want to remember. So yeah, basically that's how I broke my trauma bond. I don't think about him anymore. Besides running the Facebook group, I'll read your guys' stories and then, like, maybe I'll, oh yeah, he used to do that to me. But I don't have a desire to know what he's doing. I don't have a desire to reach out to him. I'm not angry at him. I just, like, literally don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't care. It's just, that was a part of my life. It was fake. I was manipulated to believe somebody loved me when they didn't. And I mean, I accept that and I'm okay with that. And I'm just going to move on with my life. So I hope this video helps somebody, and maybe you could try some of the things that I tried, and you could heal your trauma bond also. Like I said, I don't feel like mine's completely healed. I don't desire to know anything about him anymore. I don't desire to fix anything anymore, and I feel like that's a big step. But thank you guys for watching, and have a good day.